construct the liquid bulk tank. The open space you see on the left, it is the area that is designated and earmarked for the liquid bulk. So that is where the liquid bulk tanks are going to be. The pipeline is going to be running down, similar to the one for the Orion, but also on the left-hand side. On your left as well, Honorable Minister, this is the substation. It's currently being commissioned. It's able to power the entire precinct and also support the port and its entirety in terms of operations. The entrance plaza that you are approaching, as I've indicated, is part of the supporting infrastructure for the liquid bulk. So on the RFP, Minister, we are taking the RFP through the governance processes. Probably by end of this month, October, we want to get approval. We go out into the market. The timelines have indicated previously is that by the end of the calendar year 2027, we'll talk about calendar year and financial year, which is 2027, 28. Sometimes it creates some confusion to say, why do you talk about 2027, 2028? In that period, we're doing some commissioning. You find that we start with the cold commissioning, we do hot commissioning. End of the calendar year 2027, it moves over to calendar year 2028, which is 2027, 2028 financial year. We had the facilities in full operation. As the design life and end of life of the tanks in the port of PE would have reached the end of life. We are working closely with the relevant stakeholders in that entire process of moving across. We've done risk analysis. We started decommissioning. I think we've received that information. Part decommissioning of some of the tanks that were mothballed during the process. As we move out past the entrance plaza, you'll see on the right-hand side the two tanks from Orion. As the captain has indicated that those tanks are storing the carbon black with the pipeline. Yesterday was an event to open and launch the Orion project and the pipeline delivery. So we have had a successful commissioning of the tanks, which we were part of. Captain was part of that as well. It was very successful. So we are working closely with the stakeholders, trying to accommodate them in every way possible.
Owned and operated by private sector.
Yes, the Orion one. Yes. Okay, I think that's all on the tank farm so far. We are just going up around to have a full view of the Orion tank farm, of the tanks where the carbon black is being stored. I don't know if there's any other questions.
When will it start operating?
The tank farm.
It's operational now.
Or the Orion is operational, yes.
No, it's tricky when there is nothing to talk about.
And then the process, is it from these tanks, is it by road now?
The pulp that you saw.
No, from these tanks now.
Oh, yes.
It's by
To
road.
distribution areas is by road, yeah,
There's
the
no
trucks.
plan for a rail connection as far as the port master plan is concerned. I can't remember seeing any.
Not currently, Mr. Chiseo, but it's something to ponder on and as we expand, because our main end desired end state is to be a world-class type of port system with a smart port operations, and also linking all that the rail operations and so on.
Same question to the tank farmer. Didn't see a rail line on the plan. Is that going to be included?
Currently,
can be moved also by rail.
Currently, there's no plan, but also we're looking at if the volumes, there's a change in volumes and so on. But of course, it depends on the demand and the outlook in terms of the usage of fuels, liquid fuels going forward, as we're trying to mitigate the issue of global warming. You know,
something we need to think of, because as you move from pipelines, as the volumes go down, then rail becomes
more critical.
More viable.
Yeah.
And you transport that by rail.
By rail. Noted.
We have to redo.
Okay, they're asking for the aircon.
Yeah.
So I think because not much activity here, you can just keep it busy.
Thank you, Captain.
All right, no, please don't disturb the Okay. Thanks a lot, Brian. Much appreciated. Yes, I think the minister asked about what is this carbon black or black carbon, whatever, which is the best way that name you used for. Like I said, this is used for strengthening the tires. So it's very vital for the tire industry in this region. And it's a pigmentation agent, so it can use for, like I said, for colors. So if you want to put color on certain items, so that is the main purpose for it. That is why we are handling it. We're handling about 3 or 4 vessels a year. So it's not a very busy. Doesn't really bring a lot of shipping into the port, but it's very, very critical for our economy in this region. Okay, we're going to turn around and then go back down. So are you okay there? So must I move up? Can you see? Maybe just for other information as we're going down, so at least. But we'll talk about. I think Brian is going to talk on the LNG once we can start to see the port. So the manganese terminal that I referred to, currently there are three different operators that are there, with the main one being the TPT, which is our sister organization. So they, like I said, we're handling about 4 million tons on that particular berth, with the plans, of course, in the future to increase that once we move the operation from that other side in PE to Ngqura. The same operation as well, as we're going to be moving the tank farm. We've just saw the tank farm that Brian just spoke about. We'll also be moving the tank farm to the port of PE. Sorry, to the port of Ngqura. So on the MPT side, there's a lot of other activity. Unfortunately, I think we're all hoping that it will arrive. Something that was a lot of
Captain, President. Um, subs- of limits to try. So we are proceeding. Delivery date of those facility is 2030, 2031 financial year. We're looking at that period. As you've also indicated that we're going to run out of gas. 2026, I think it's critical from that time. Phase one of that will have e-gas, but at the time we won't be ready, but we will have an FSRU, which is a floating storage regasification unit that will come to the port, and then as the LNG comes through, it comes in the liquid form, and then the FSRU, it will convert it into a gas through the pipeline and gas distributed, whilst we build the onshore facility. So that's going to be in 2 phases. We're still working on the technicalities around that, the entire technical solution, which I think we are getting closer to it. The terminal operator agreement is still at being finalized. Final draft has been issued to F. We are to close the end of this and have it off by all the parties relevant. The liquid bulk, Honorable Minister, is also going to be utilizing the same liquid that you see on that is utilized by Orion for the black carbon oil. So we're using the same substitute. It's sufficient to accommodate about 3, 4 to 6 pipes in the same at ground level. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Thanks, Brian, and thanks again, Honorable Minister and the leadership. So Brian spoke about the LNG. So there is quite a lot of studies that have been done. We've done some navigation studies. I think we're going to the left. We've done some navigation studies through PRDW where we established that we can be able to handle the 2 vessels and still be able to dock and sail ships in under certain weather conditions from the breakwater. So we're not going to be using a traditional berth, as you see, but we will be building a berth on the break wall. You will see it immediately as we come up on our right-hand side. This is one of our breakwaters that's about 5.2 kilometers long. So that's a breakwater. So the structure is going to be built on that particular, just in the doglegs part of the breakwater.
Do you still need to dredge?
There will be some definitely some level of dredging, depending of where they're going to be building. If it's going to be a little bit more, it's quite deep enough there in that area, depending on the size that we'll finally look at. Closer to the breakwater, you still get about 12 meters, 13 meters of depth. But they probably will be some little bit of dredging just to align. But if you're bidding a key, then probably there will be very minimal dredging that needed to be done. Yeah, so we are going to the tug jetty. So the tug jetty, it's where we have our tugs. Normally, in our port, we've got about 3 tugboats. Tugboats, we use them to pull ships or push ships when they're coming into the port. I wonder if it's necessary. Just one more. I wonder if it's necessary for us to go in. Will you be able? You might battle to turn. Yeah, I think maybe try and turn around. I think we're gonna battle to turn in there. Yeah. So are you gonna be fine? Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I think we take a full responsibility.
It's like the ship captain. It's like the captain when he brings in the ship.
Okay, so this is one of our new buildings that we've recently built. That's where the marine operations team management sit. So there's a tug jetty, and next to them we've got our fire department. So our marine pilots sit here. The fire department also is based here. So our spill response equipment, because we where we land helicopters. Yeah. But we don't have.
Good day, Honorable Minister. I'm David Goliath, responsible for operations. There we have the tug jetty. There's tug Oka and tug Lezubuko. There are 70-ton bollard pull tugs, which is currently within the TNPA in the port system, part of the most powerful tugs. There is another tug Sasha, that's currently doing service in the port of East London. On the other side, as we can see there, there's a small boat on the other side of the jetty that's just standing out to the far right towards the end. That is what we call a pilot boat. It's pilot boat Tsitsikamma, and she's used as the pilotage platform to put the pilot on top of the vessel or to take the pilot sailing. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. So the flashing light you see in front, like I said, the way we operate like the airport. When you've got all those lights that guides the plane when they land. We use exactly the same principle. We've got leading lights. So you've got this light in front, you've got the light at the back. So when you're coming into the port, you must line those lights. So if those lights are open at night, so the ports with a similar thing. You might have heard, you might be ships also in the Port of Ngqura and almost broke entrance. So I have spoken about the entrance on our right-hand side that are being discharged there. There's quite a lot of ships. Quite a lot when it comes to oil and gas industry. These kind of vessels is because of the type of jobs that they create for the region. It's a big employer. I mean, they create employment for the airline industry. They create employment for hotels. I mean, people stay here for 3-4 months in some of these. The places, if you try and book here in Blue Water Bay in December, you'll find that these places will be fully booked. People that are catering, the general labor, people that will be here. So we're looking forward that in December, when that rig does dock, or early in January, that at least we will contribute immensely in employment creation. So yes, that's a leading light that I was talking about. That's the one of them that the pilots are using, and our left-hand side. So we're going up to the top, and then we will turn left, and then we will be heading towards the terminal. So we will shortly be asking our colleagues maybe from the terminal just to come to the front, please, just maybe so that at least they can take us through the process of how the trucks or any cars that are coming into the terminal are badged or recognized or attract. So on our right-hand side, you can see the two structures, the Dolosis. I know Brian was talking about Transnet employees having designed that building. This is a South African design. This gentleman was working in the Port of Durban and the Port of East London. So, but unfortunately, I think those days there wasn't this, people knew that you can patent your design so that everybody else basically is using it. But it's something that you see.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Minister, Transnet colleagues. My name is Lunga Komeana. I'm the terminal manager here at NCT. So this terminal was opened on the 4th of October 2009. So tomorrow we'll be celebrating 15 years as a terminal. We employ 872 people, direct employment. We are running a 3-by-8 shift. So by next year, 1st June, we'll be going to the 4th shift. Basically, we are complying with the basic conditions of employment. So it's a strategy that we have taken as a TPT that we're going on a 4th shift. So across all terminals. So we're almost the last terminal to go on the 4th shift. So we're going ahead on the 1st of June 2025. So we will be employing about 350 employees. So we'll just go above 1,000 employees. So we also have contractors that are working with us, for example, Stevie Jaws, that are outsourced. We've got security, we've got cleaning. Those services are actually outsourced. So that is in as far as people are concerned. We've got unions. We've got 2 unions that are our stakeholders, the employee unions, which are recognized. That is UNTU and SATAU, that are part of us, our operation. So for employee issues, we deal with those colleagues. Then in terms of... Okay, we're going to talk about it. So in terms of the volume, this terminal is doing 709. That's what was budgeted for this year, 709,000 TEUs. Last year, we budgeted 601,000. We actually did 649.
How much of that was transshipment?
Transshipment, we're sitting at about 55% to 60%. So this year we budgeted 709,000. We are growing at 5% currently. So we had some few challenges at the beginning of the year, but we've overcome those challenges. So we are good in terms of growing, continuing to grow the volume. So in as far as equipment is concerned, we've got 8 ship-to-shore cranes. All of them are working. In fact, out of the 8, 2 of them are left with 10 years, so there's still a long way to go, which is exciting for us. And then the other 6 are left with 5 years, but we've budgeted to refurbish them next year. starting from next year going into 2030. Yes, so we're planning to refurbish those equipment. In terms of the RTGs, rubber tire gantries, we had 40 of them. Then we took 3 and borrowed Pier 1 in Durban. So we left with 37. So at a given day, we are using 30. The other 3, because they had some major issues, our equipment.
Did you get any of the bathtub trailers from?
Yes, yes, we've got bathtub. The bathtubs we've got over 100. Yeah.
So you're saying that since you've
We've by 15%, by 15%. So we're going to focus on the RTG now. We got them from China. When? In July. In July.
the ones that have got balloons on, are they not working?
The one, yeah, I was fighting with my operations manager, saying, "Hey, you're going to ask for efficiency tomorrow." Yeah. So after this process, no, we don't keep them on the. So the minister is asking colleagues if we keep the haulers with balloons. No, we use them. We use them. Yeah, and employees, they enjoying them. They comfortable, aircon, everything inside. We've got a system as well called Navis, that is a terminal operating system. So we don't use a manual system. It tells you, you can stop here. It tells you where to go, which crane to go, which area of the stack you go, and so forth. The cap, yes. Yeah, there is a system there that you use. Yeah. Yes. This one. Oh, yes, yes.
Good today, delegates. For all of those who've got the Port Tour gadgets, please put it on. And as well as you can see on your gadget, you will see the volume button. You can make use of that to make it louder or softer for yourself. Thank you.
No, other colleagues will remain here. So it's the members of the media, the minister, the COO, yeah. Omia, QO,
Yes.
MI,
Yes.
YA, NA.
And it's Lunga, hey?
Lunga, LUNGA.
And your position?
Terminal manager,
Okay.
Ngqura Terminal,
Thank you.
Ngqura Container Terminal. Welcome again, Minister.
Thank you.
Welcome, Chief GCOO, members of the media. So we are inside Ngqura Container Terminal. Yes. Yeah, we are inside Ngqura Container Terminal. So behind us is the haulers that I was talking about that we have received. We have received 50 of these haulers in July. These haulers are helping us to move the cargo inside the terminal. So far what we have seen is a great improvement in terms of the efficiencies. As I indicated, we have seen 15% improvement in our operations. So we're going to go there and have a look at the haulers. You can follow me. Thank you. Yes, you will see when we do the presentation.
Okay, can I climb inside, right?
Yes. Mafege, which one can we use? The one with the, all
One
right.
in the middle.
Okay.
Okay. This one. You want me to go in here? Okay, how do you get in?
All right. No, we'll come this side, Minister. We'll come this side.
Okay, can we, yeah, let's ask officials to stand there. And we
There's
can,
no cutting, it's just going to be a photo.
all right.
Did I end them?
Okay. Box,
The media guys must come closer.
do we want to allow a couple of maybe into
Yeah. Go in. Go in.
Yeah, so this is the system. This is
Yeah.
a computer that we're using. So what happens is that we plan, to say, okay,
Yeah.
this vehicle is working in the pool.
Yes.
We put them in a pool because
Yes.
you can go to any crane. So the nervous system tells you that go to crane number 8. Go to crane number 8, pick up box MSCU 123. And then once you get that, you confirm F9, and then it tells you go and place this box in BP1, position 2 or position 3. You go there, you meet with the RTG offloads the box. And then the system says, no, don't go to the crane, empty. Go to that block, pick up and export, because that vessel at D100 is actually loading. So take an export there, you go there, you put an export, you confirm F9, then it gives you another move to say go to D101, pick up and import. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to make sure that there is no unladen leg. Both ways the truck is fully utilized. In some instances it doesn't happen, but most of the time we're sitting at about 72% of the trucks loaded both sides.
container vessel, sorry. So I'm just so used to just mentioning it here internally. Yes, so handling these big ships comes with a little bit of trouble because these babies are quite huge, and the times when the wind comes up, because the way our berth is designed, the wind pushes the ships at 90 degrees. So ships either get blown off. At times we also get a surge. So that means after strong southwesterly winds, which we get quite often in our region, you get vessel movement. So when the vessel moves up and down, then you either breaks the lines or the terminal cannot operate. So to deal with that challenge, the Transnet has looked at options, and we've conducted studies working with CSIR, and there was a recommendation that we procure a system that is based in Holland, which is called the short tension system. So that is the system that is using hydraulics. It's a very good system in a sense that it's mobile. You can move it from one area to another. It uses stored energy. So that means if, for example, there is too much pressure on the line before the safe working load of the line parts, so it gives a little bit of slack, so and then arrests the ship again from moving. So it stops the ship from being blown off the berth and also from being shifting up and down. So it uses lines called Dyneema lines. So these Dyneema lines are some of the strongest lines that you can get today, and they are easier to handle. So as we go around, I will unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get off because there is operation that's currently underway. So the terminal manager won't be very happy with me if I stop the operation. So I think we will just go and look at one of the units. There's one of the units that's not connected, that's currently there at the end. If we can go right at the end, please. Menier Pesturde. So there is some of the two units that are there. So those units is tied up on the vessel. Next to the building, yes. You can see the one that is being tied up on the ship. Yeah, so it's connected on the bollard, the structure that's on the quay, on the cement side. So one section is connected there and another section. How many are connected? The Port of Ngqura, we've got 6 that are connected as we speak, but we've got in total 8. So there's 3 vessels that are here. We connected 2 per ship. So there's 8 in total. Yes. So we sometimes, if the weather is bad, actually connect 4 in one vessel. So we've got, like I mentioned earlier, we've got about 8 for this port. And then we've got the Port of Port Elizabeth is also getting, I'm just going to show, there is this particular one. Yes. If you can just stop for, I'm not sure if everybody will be able to see. There is the one that's connected. You can see it's connected. It's tied up on the bollard, that yellow structure, and then it goes back to the vessel. So what happens when the ship, either the wind is too strong or there's vessel movement, the ship is surging up and down, if then it becomes too strong for the line, then it gives a little bit of slack just to ensure that the lines don't break. We've had incidents, unfortunately, in the past where we've had ships breaking the lines, and then they end up on the other side. So this has been a big help for us in ensuring that we improve the efficiency of the port. At the same time, we improve the safety. Because if these units are not particularly here, sometimes we need to evacuate the ships, and we can't evacuate all the ships at the same time. So there is 8 units here in this port. There's about 8 units in the port of PE. Durban is getting about 20 units. And Richards Bay is also getting about 4 units, if I'm not mistaken. Then Cape Town is quite kind of about 16, and Saldanha is also getting another 4 units. So all the South African ports, they getting the units. We've seen very strange weather phenomenon lately, where even bats that were not really a problem, now we are starting to see problems, ships breaking lines. So this system is really, really a very good investment for the port system. Yes.
Are we loading or unloading this vessel?
So let me hand over to the terminal manager. I don't want to lie.
This vessel, we are discharging. We are finishing the discharge, and then we're going to load. But in some instances, we discharge and backload at the same time. yeah, for efficiency point of view. And then also the middle vessel, we loading. And then the far at D102, that vessel just berthed this morning, so we're discharging there. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we're done here. We can proceed. So the vessels here, basically that you see, like I said, the biggest vessel that we've handled is about 366 meters long, just 34 meters short of the longest vessel that is being handled. We were forced here to handle some of the biggest ships. As you might have heard that there were few ships that lost a lot of containers on our coast around Port St. John's, around Port of Ngqura area. And some of those vessels, we accommodate them here, and some of them were accommodated in the port of Cape Town. One was accommodated in the port of Cape Town. I think we've accommodated here about 3 vessels that they run into trouble. So it's all just with the issue that the weather is becoming just unbearable. That we're going back for photo shoot. Yeah. So I'm not sure if there are any questions before we leave this area. Very interesting sometimes when you actually have bad weather and you can have one ship with units and you see the other ship without units. And you see how the other one is moving.
It's shifting this way.
Yeah. And then the other one is solidly, not solid, but
The one that doesn't have units will be lighter, so it's moving more.
so it's moving because it doesn't have a mechanism that adjusts the movement. That's tensioning.
That doesn't have
Yeah, that doesn't have the.
No, I can believe.
Yes.
Because the wind actually isn't that strong.
The wind here is,
No, not today.
yeah, but here the wind,
The
when
weather
it
is
blows,
and it blows for days. Like I said, when you've got that southwester blowing for a couple of days, then you get a surge. That is why even
we're still lucky, not like Hong Kong and other ports where there's that
that monsoon.
monsoon. That blows container stuff. They actually put devices on the containers to tie them. Yeah, yes. Same mechanism that's used on the ship. See those cross things on the side? They use them on land as well to keep the containers up. So I was just wondering, I see that maybe the time seems to be coming where for empty containers we may have to do that. Because right now what you're doing here is not stacking, so you're putting them on the ground.
And when you've got a lot, then you're gonna
If you will run out of space.
unfortunately
They're in danger. Probably some people will go salvage.
they eventually they sink, then depend on depth.
But if they don't sink,
If they don't sink, they will float like we had, depends on the cargo. We've had ones that they just float and end up on the coast. Some of them, if it's deep like you are saying, it's gonna go right down. So then eventually to split. We had one ship that left and just outside we lost quite a lot of cargo. But it was
CMA,
rice.
CMA one.
It was rice.
Melelo
But they had rice. So then the rice started, containers 2-3 years started splitting. And then we had to get the salvos. We had to get the companies to give us guarantees that if one day for 5 years or 10 years or 15 years, if anything ever surfaces, we will clean it up. So they signed it. So this particular brand is handling them.
So the trucks are coming in here with those skips that get dropped in there.
So they come here, these are the skips they operate in.
The skips work. It's just that it's slow. I mean, compared to conveyor.
Yeah. So right now we have stopped for wind. The wind speed is sitting at 72 kilometers per hour. Yeah, it was predicted, so it's going to subside around 1800. Yeah, so it's, yeah.
So these trucks wait until 1800.
The external trucks.
No, our
Or the manganese somehow, the skips, they continue with the skips because they're using the ship derrick. They're not using our equipment, they're using their ship derricks. So they start, stop. It's the containers that gets affected. Yes, yes.
What's the cutoff?
We're going back to the trucks, sir. Sorry, sir. We're going back to the trucks where we were. Yeah.
where we were then.
Yeah. No, those guys were not. Yeah, you missed the chair.
It's because he's following the security.
Yeah, security.
Oh, they were not there.
Okay.
When we were doing the meeting.
Can you reverse if you look at the back? I can help you. Huh? No, I can allow them to pass. Let me go out. Let me go out. That's all then.
Okay, sure.
Somebody needs to inform us.
Yeah. So from the containers, because it's very precise the way that you handle, but the skips, you just lift and drop. So it's no.
What I was asking is, what is the cutoff?
How about there is in the 70 kilometers per hour, 70, 72, 80 kilometers per hour. Sometimes even the wind direction has an effect. I mean, your wind is broadside, then the container is swinging quite a bit. It's the same with the ships. Sometimes depends on the type of wind. If the wind is coming from back or forth of the ship, because then you can control the speed. So you can come and it's stronger. But if the wind is broadside, then you battle to control the ship. When you slow down, the translation on the side, the movement to the sideways is more than the actual you going ahead. So it becomes more dangerous.
Yes,
So
yes.
you can see, sir. I see these bars, even the wheel, there's some of the wheels at the back are turning. Put that.
Sorry about that.
Going to the red. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming to where I think then the media will be asking some difficult questions to those that are supposed to answer them. So we'll be stopping here.
It's not.
up. You're still set up.
Put everything next to that speaker because you will use mic. Is it not better if we put the mic? We'll use the mic. Is it fine? The sound. It's fine. It's okay. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you will indicate when you're ready, Minister. I think they're asking that we should bring the podium. The podium. Let's put it here.
Okay.
Are we fine now? Yeah? Yeah, no, it's fine. Should cell phones? Should we put them here or do I find?
No, this is the
Here.
speaker this side.
Where's the speaker? Yeah, I will hold them. It's fine.
Hold it.
This way. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mpigele Lindlela, so I'm just coordinating or chairing this session today. We are going to give the minister a chance to give you her media address, and then we'll open up. My colleague is going to be assisting me here so that we can take questions. During the time of questioning, we're just going to ask you to introduce yourself, the media houses you are coming from, and then you can ask your question. Minister?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ntlela, and let me acknowledge the Chief Operations Officer of Transnet, as well as the local management and leadership of the Port of Ngqura and of TNPA in the Eastern region. First of all, let me thank you very much for joining this actually to the port of Port Elizabeth. You have been throughout our tour here at Ngqura. At Port Elizabeth, for some time now, we have faced a logistics crisis in our country. And since the middle of last year, Transnet has been engaged in a recovery plan to try and ensure both our rail and our ports are functioning more effectively. At the moment, as a result of this recovery plan, we have stabilized the export of freight, or the movement of freight, in the region of about 149 million tons per annum. But this, of course, is a far cry from the best performance of Transnet, which was in the 2017-2018 financial year, where we were moving about 220 million tons of freight per year. And what is estimated to be the appetite from our economy of about 250 million tons of freight per year. So if you are to ask us what is a target, that 50 million is Tuesday night we were together with business launch, we were given a 90 million ton in the near future, and saying within the next financial a work meets every single day, and it involves everybody who is involved in the freight and logistic chains. The purpose of the visit to the ports today is really to look at what improvements are we implementing in these ports so that we can start to move the tonnage up speedily from 149 million tons, firstly to 170, and then to this new target that we were given on Tuesday of 190 million tons. Now, clearly, Transnet understands that to be able to reach the target of 250 million tons, this is not something Transnet would be able to do on its own, because this target requires considerable investment in the rail lines, investment in the ports infrastructure, and investments in the whole freight value chain. And in this regard, in December last year, Cabinet took a decision that we would facilitate third-party participation, both on the rail network and in the ports. That third-party participation would assist us with securing the investment that we need while the infrastructure remains owned by government. But while we are in the process of facilitating that third-party participation, we do need to be taking very immediate steps to get the tonnage up. So today you've seen some of the important steps that we have taken. First of all, we have acquired 50 of these haulers here at the Port of Ngqura. And I think you would have seen from the demonstration that we showed you how the RTGs the cranes, are unloading onto the haulers, and the haulers then bring the containers to the RTGs that are responsible for stacking them. You've heard that there's already been an improvement of 15% since we took delivery of these RTGs. And I'm told that because we are very concerned about how long it takes for a truck to come in, unload, and go out, we are also very concerned about the waiting times of trucks. And I'm told that at the moment we've managed to get the waiting time down to 35 minutes, which is an improvement on what would have been the previous situation. And it's largely because of these haulers, because the haulers have the IT system that operates the port. Immediately that the truck comes in, the hauler is told where it must go to pick up a container or where it must go to drop off a container, and that's really something that is substantially improving efficiency. The second issue that really has been very important is the installation here of the first 8 shore tensioners. And we couldn't really stop because of the unloading operation that is going on, but we did try to demonstrate these shore tensioners to you. What you would understand is that this area has very, very windy conditions. Today the wind is over 70 kilometers per hour, and these shore tensioners keep the vessel stable so that even under windy conditions, it's possible to continue with the unloading. I think you might have realized how enormous these ships are and how very precise the process of loading and unloading is. And you would understand that if the wind conditions are very great, these massive vessels can turn from being parallel with the quay to being 90% to the quay. And clearly that would have a very devastating impact both for the cargo and for the machinery that is working there. Let me also say to you that we've tried to show you today some of the future expansion plans. There is a plan here to build a liquid bulk terminal, and we also showed you the tank farm where those bulk liquids could be stored. The idea is that closer to 2030, we would want to be moving the whole liquid bulk operation that is currently located at Port Elizabeth here. So this is a process which is already underway. The second area that we wanted to show you today is the manganese port that is being built here. What you would know is that Ngqura is one of the main export venues for manganese after Sishen. And the idea is to develop a new manganese terminal here that would be able to operate. This container depot is dealing with reefers that contain agricultural produce. At the moment we are in the middle of the citrus season, and in due course it's possible later on this year that we could be dealing with deciduous fruit. The whole idea is that this port can also be used to decant cargo, both from the Port of Durban and the Port of Cape Town. And one of the major issues in the whole of the Greater Nelson Mandela Metro is the production of car vehicles. So this container port is very important in terms of the import of auto parts that would be going to the manufacturing plants here in the metro, but also, of course, going to the city of Tshwane. Earlier, I visited the port of Port Elizabeth, and in that port, we are currently exporting between 150 and 200,000 finished vehicles every year. We had just missed this morning a large consignment over 1,500 polos that were all manufactured here in South Africa that were going for export. And of course, Port Elizabeth is still a very important export destination for Ford vehicles. So the key question that we have to confront is the fact that most of this freight is currently moving on road, not on rail. And part of that really relates to the poor state of our rail infrastructure, because it was never intended that these ports would be serviced primarily through trucking. We have been working together with Transnet to try and ensure that by the end of this year, we should be putting out what we call the network statement on the rail infrastructure. The network statement for lay people like you and I is the menu and the price. So these are the lines where we are looking for private sector participation. And let me say once again that the line will remain state-owned. And obviously, there would be prices for different forms of cargo and different forms of investment that might be taking place on those lines. We hope, and it is our intention, that this line that runs from Ngqura and Port Elizabeth Port to Gauteng would be one of the lines that would be included in that network statement, because we are very aware of the enormous cost that trucking vehicles here is having for the auto industry, and we want to move away from that situation. Let me pause there, and we can open up for questions. And I'm sure if there's more information you need, there are many people here who can supply it.
Let's do it this way. We will move this way. As she moves with the mic, you will then name and media house and then ask a question, right?
Good afternoon, Minister. My name is Kara. I'm from Netwerk 24 Nuus and the Burger newspaper. I have two questions. The one is, this morning you did visit the port of Port Elizabeth. I'm sure there was an oversight at the damaged fuel berth. Could we please get an update of the situation there, and when can we expect the completion of the berth? And then secondly, with regard to the fuel tanks, is there perhaps a specific time when that entire operation of the fuel tanks will be moved here? I think I just missed it on the bus, but I think it was mentioned. Thank you.
Hello, Minister. Ronald Musanda, ENCA. Just in terms of your term in office, I'm not sure how many ports you have visited, but how does the Port of Ngqura compare to the rest of South Africa's ports? And lastly, are there any plans to deal with climate change? Because there have been several issues out at sea, especially in recent months. Thank you.
Hi, Minister. I'm Guy Rogers from the Herald newspaper. Just related to the fuel berth, the fuel tanker berth that was damaged. You know, there's a lot of upset residents, a lot of upset consumers in Nelson Mandela Bay. Is the Transport Department going to intervene in this erosion of the decrease in the fuel price that Minister Mantashe has announced? That's the one question. And with regard to the Markman Forum, they have approached the Competition Commission to try to get the Ngqura Development Corporation to open the link between a road called Ranger Road up into Neptune Road. That will allow, they say, the trucks to stop destroying Markman Forum, and they say it'll allow them to stop destroying the metro. And I just want to know whether the Transport Department is going to react to that. Lastly, when is the manganese terminal going to be moved from the port of Port Elizabeth to the port of Ngqura?
Maybe let's ask the Minister to respond to the three questions, and we will open up after she has responded.
Let's just start and ask, Sally, can we get the dates? It was for the manganese and for the liquid terminal. I do have them somewhere here, but
Thank you, Minister, and to the media houses. My name is Mvuyelwa Brian Mtwa, Technical Director for the Central Region. Minister earlier said Eastern Region is Central Region, Minister. The liquid bulk facility, which is expected to be moved over to Port of Ngqura, is supposed to be operational by the financial year 2027-2028, where we will begin with cold commissioning at the end of the calendar year 2027 and move with the hot commissioning and have the facility handed over beginning of the calendar year 2028. Thank you, Minister. Manganese terminal as well is going to be around 2028 as well, provided all the processes have been, moved speedily to try and accelerate and meet those timelines. Thank you, Minister.
Is there anybody who can talk about Ranger Road and Neptune Road? Ranger Road and Neptune Road, what is the plan?
Good afternoon. My name is Tolam Kondwana, Strategy for Central Region. The discussion about the Neptune Road, Guy Rogers, is that we had a meeting with the city manager, then city manager, Nokolon was together with the CDC, that is the Special Economic Zone, CE, and then the alignment was that there will be a discussion between the city and the CDC to see to it that how do we actually open the linkages that you are talking about. So that discussion is actually still taking place, and then the MACPAN forum will be actually briefed in terms of that discussion. So that meeting was between us as the stakeholders to see to it actually how do we actually move manganese efficiently and safely in the area that is there. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Right, let me come to the question of the fuel depot. Yes, I did stop at the fuel depot and I did see the damage that has been done there. A contractor to repair that damage is already setting up site. I saw them beginning to set up site there today. And the intention is that this work should be completed latest 6 December. Transnet head office is putting lots of pressure that we should try to conclude by the end of November. And I think the reason that we want to conclude is because we're very well aware of the negative impact that this damage is having on those who are living in this area, particularly the concerns that have been raised with regard to the fuel price. I obviously can't talk about the fuel price, it's not in my domain. My understanding is that the reason why decisions were made to allow an extra amount was because of the transportation costs from East London. But as I say, petrol price is not my mandate. My mandate is to fix this terminal as soon as possible so that we stop disadvantaging those who are living here, because I'm sure we all agree that this is not a good situation. Ronald, I've actually been to Durban, Richards Bay, Saldanha, Cape Town, and today I'm doing the 2 ports here. It is my intention next week to go back to the Port of Durban, because in the initial discussion we had a conversation about how we're going to increase the tonnage there, and I want to have that conversation to understand what improvements we've made, and similarly with officials at the Port of Richards Bay. So I'm hoping that I can do that work next week and I would be able to advise the public. I am also going back to the Port of Cape Town because I understand that the fruit producers have a lot of anxiety around the fruit season. It is my understanding that Transnet has done a lot of work on the plan for the fruit season. I would want to share that plan with the stakeholders, and obviously there is most likely to be feedback on more suggestions about what we can do. But once again, I think we're agreed we can't allow some of the things that have happened before, because fruit is a very, very important to export, particularly towards the end of the year and early in the new year. Well, climate change, you know, is one of my areas of interest. So, look, I think that one of the big issues that has impacted on this port over the past winter is that we've had 3 distressed vessels that we've had to bring in from the high seas here at the request of SAMSA. The major concern we obviously have, because it's mandatory when a vessel is distressed that you have to bring it to safety. The main concern we have is that at the moment we are having to use these berths that should be used for cargo. This is a discussion that I will be having with the COO when I return to Gauteng, is to what emergency plan can we make? Because I think what we all understand is that extreme weather events will get worse. So the question is, how do you plan for them and build resilience? Because we can't stop them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, can I still note hands, if there is, for the second round? To you, Madam, you say, and, oh, okay. Give it to her.
Good afternoon, Minister. Pure Kutlamatamela from Algo FM News. If you can just maybe give us an estimate of how much fixing the berth is going to cost.
Ministers, sorry to press you again on the berth. I understand that you're not the fuel price minister, but as I understand, the Transnet official who was piloting the ship caused the accident. So shouldn't Transnet be picking up the excess costs that are now being foisted upon the consumers? That's my one question. The other question is, I think it was Brian who spoke earlier about the tank farm, the decommissioning that was going to have to take place. I think there's going to be a lot of pollution, as I understand, into the ground there. Can we just talk about that a bit? How much of that is a problem, and how long will that take, and how much will it cost?
Thank you very much.
I think the question of the decommissioning of the tank farm would require a bit of homework. So let's give you that in writing, because I don't imagine we've got that at our fingertips today. Fixing the berth is going to cost in the region of about 20 million. Have you seen the preliminary report on the accident? No. Right. So there is a preliminary report on the accident, which Transnet already has. I haven't seen it. But there will also be a, what do we call it, DDG? A Marine Board of Inquiry. So this preliminary report is already submitted for the Marine Board of Inquiry. Once the Marine Board of Inquiry has concluded its work, their report will be made public. What I can tell you is that the ship's owners and Transnet's owners' insurances are talking to each other. I don't want to pronounce on who caused the accident because I haven't seen the report. But let's agree that both parties are covered, and I suppose the question is which party will ultimately need to pay for the repairs, and that will be determined by the Marine Board of Inquiry.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Can I just request those who need a one-on-one to indicate to my colleague here so that we can arrange before we leave here? Those who need one-on-one, they can just indicate it to her so that we can do it before. Or your cell phone. Thank you. It looks like we are fine. We can go back. Thank you very much. We can go back to the bus and then we leave. It's going to be public. Minister?